here's Brody Brazil.
If you are a regular to this YouTube channel, you know how diligently I've been covering the Major League Baseball jersey situation. And basically ever since spring training, right? I was down there in Arizona. I got my hands on these new jerseys. I saw them with my own eyes, and I knew right then, right there, that come opening day, when the rest of the fans saw what I saw, this would be a big story. This would be a big deal. But what I could not have predicted is that already here by the end of April 2024, it sounds like we've already got a resolution to get baseball jerseys fixed by the beginning of next season at the latest. That's according to an internal memo between the Major League Baseball Players Association and their players, which was obtained by ESPN. I'll get to Jeff Passan's reporting in just a second. But you remember the literal laundry list, right, of problems with these new jerseys. And it's not like Nike and Fanatics are new at this. They had been making the prior version of the old Majestic jerseys, but this is their first iteration of new jerseys, and there were some changes and things that people just did not like the mismatching grays, the blue-gray top and the gray pants. I think the St. Louis Cardinals are one of those teams with that problem. The sweat stains of Yankee players, of Red Sox players, that we've already seen in the spring months, let alone wait until summer comes around. You're bound to see a lot more of that. The transparent pants had a lot of fans seeing more than they bargained for back in spring training. The ripped pants, that's happened on a number of occasions this year. Somebody has slid into home plate and the whole side of their pants rips wide open. That never really happened before, did it? The printed patches instead of the embroidered patches on the sleeves of jerseys, and the smaller names on the back of jerseys, which bothers the fans because they can't see and read the names as well. And it bothers the players because that's their likeness, that's their name, that's their image on the backs of their jerseys. They want that nice and big and bold. They want to be proud of it. So here's what we know is getting taken care of. The mismatching grays are apparently going to be remedied. The sweat stain issue, they're going to work on that. The transparent pants, apparently they're having some solutions to that being made. And then the smaller names are definitely getting bigger. Again, all of this reportedly by the beginning of the 2025 season at the very latest. There's a whole supply chain here, right? Like they cannot instantly fix this by tomorrow. But the fact that they're already on it is a good thing. And the fact that we know this, again, comes from that memo by the Players Association to the players, which was obtained by ESPN. It says, in part, talking about how Nike's involved with this, again, this goes to the players, this has been entirely a Nike issue. At its core, what has happened here is that Nike was innovating something that didn't need to be innovated. And remember, Fanatics in Major League Baseball are also involved, but the Players Association going in right there on Nike. Quote, "We cautioned Nike against various changes when they previewed them in 2022, particularly regarding pants. MLB had been and has been aware of our concerns," the Players Association as well. "Unfortunately, until recently, Nike's position has essentially boiled down to nothing to see here. Players, you'll just need to adjust." End quote. And so that's why the Players Association stepped in. It seems like they have done something about this. Now, again, all of this is being reported by ESPN and Jeff Passan, who says the changes will come by the beginning of the 2025 season at the latest. You would assume that if they can make it happen quicker than that, they will, but there's already City Connect jerseys that are backlogged, and some other teams don't have their full assortment of colors and jerseys, so who knows when all of this actually gets remedied, but they're saying to start next year at the very latest. The MLBPA has also absolved Fanatics for the way that they've been handling the feedback, the criticism, the way they've been going about being part of the change and making this right. Again, a lot of fingers were being pointed initially at Fanatics because of prior reputation, prior quality control issues, but here's the PA saying, nope, this is squarely on Nike. In fact, to the point of details like this, players, and I didn't know this until now, players were complaining about the zipper quality of the new pants versus the old pants. They wanted the old zipper back. So even the pants zipper returns to the higher quality version that they were using in 2023 and prior instead of the one they're using here in 2024. That's interesting. Also, per Jeff Passan, Major League Baseball declined to comment on all of this. Nike did not immediately want to comment to ESPN on this. Fanatics did not respond to a request for comment. And of course, the Major League Baseball Players Association, they put out this memo, which you'd have to understand. There's so many players across the league and friends with media sources. Of course, something like this is probably going to get out, and everybody wants it to become public because this is good news for the players. Quite honestly, this is good news for the fans. But the PA declined to comment. So here are my takeaways. And again, I've been covering this saga for quite some time, a couple months now, and it occurred to me at one point that none of this is life and death. We're literally talking about baseball jerseys, how they look, what fans will spend money on, what they may not want to spend money on. None of this, again, is life and death. But almost all of it is regrettable. It's been a bad look, a bad image thing, an unfortunate story, and none of it even needed to happen. Baseball and Nike and the Players Association and Fanatics, everybody, I'll throw everybody in there, should have been a little bit more careful and cautious about making wholesale changes to, as the Players Association says, something that didn't need innovation. I mean, little tweaks here and there, you want to put your own stamp on it, that's generally fine, and especially if you run it by everybody before you do it. What amazes me here is that Nike has been known for decades to have such great innovation and quality of their product. All the brands, shoes, clothing, they're not a one-trick pony, and they're not new to this game. They've been doing it so well, so long. What happened here? How did Nike miss the mark, and by so much, and across so many people? This is not just one or two people complaining. This is a lot of players and a lot of fans noticing that something's not right here. And don't get me wrong, change is usually good. Modernization is great. But I do feel like in reverse, instead of implementing 10 new things about the jerseys, maybe 2 or 3 at most. And make sure those 2 or 3 things that you're doing, you get the sign-off from across baseball, not just 1 or 2 players here or there, or just the all-stars, or just the catchers. You need wholesale approval from pretty much all directions. And so, yeah, you know what? In covering this story and saying from the start that I hope this year is just the lesson, I hope they're listening, I hope they're learning, I hope they'll do something about it, it sounds like Nike wasn't going to do something about it until the Players Association stepped in there and said, yeah, we're actually going to make sure this gets changed. Whatever influence they've got, whatever power they've got, they obviously used it to get some resolution here, and I'm happy for that. I'm happy for the fact that this year was kind of already toast, right? You put the product out, they're wearing it, there's really no turning back. You can't stop the presses, right? The jerseys are made, this is what they're wearing. They'll try to fix it maybe by the end, but this year was going to be this year. Okay, some mistakes were made. I'm fine with that. But let's not be ignorant to those mistakes. Let's not just say, oh yeah, fine is fine. Let's fix it. And the good news is, for most of the items on that checklist, it sounds like they are going to get fixed. So gone are the days of maybe sweating through your jersey and having everybody know it, or those tiny little names on the backs. And you know what? The more baseball I watch this year in this first full month of the season, yeah, it's obvious. In person, it's obvious watching on television. It looks too different, and not in a good way. So I'm glad that this is getting fixed. I suppose the only real thing to follow in this story is if baseball or Nike or Fanatics says anything about this. But the bottom line is the Players Association has told the players all of this stuff is getting remedied sooner than later. And obviously there's that deadline of the beginning of next season for all of this to get changed back to the right way. Happy about that. I'm also happy because you made it here to the end of the video. You know I appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That'll help me and this video and this channel. And by the way, if you've never seen me or this channel before, welcome. I'm glad you did find me. But do me a quick favor. Go down there and hit that subscribe button so I can make sure that we see you back here next time.